Hey guys. Hey, I'm Stephen John Phillips, and I just want to talk to you a little bit about creative concepts. I recognize some of your names, so if some of you guys are familiar with me and have had some of my classes, some of you I didn't. So look, this is a very different kind of class. It should tell you just from the name, creative concepts. It is all about being creative. And I've had people that have said, oh, but I'm not creative. Well, you're going to learn to be creative because that's what this class is all about. Look, we have to. We have to be all about conceptualizing. We have to be able to learn and be able to do stuff that makes our stuff look personal and special. Because as you guys know, photography is, well, it's a dime a dozen now. What makes us special is our education and our study of ourselves and how photography fits into our lives and other people's lives. So conceptualization ideas are everything here. Because of Photoshop and Photoshop elements, I mean, things that are just people that never would have had access to a camera. iPhones, perfect example. But it doesn't matter. It's no longer about the equipment. What you guys have to learn is how to come up with concepts. And that's what this class is all about. And this class is not linear like a lot of your other classes that you've had in the past. This class is like left brain, to say the least. So we really want to push that. And I've got a couple of things I want you to watch that are in the threads that are posted that I think will help you. But I really want you to understand and come to this almost from a different point of view. So, don't fight me on this because I'll fight you back. This is a class that you have to learn and you have to figure out what it takes for you to be creative. So we're going to talk an awful lot about that. Let me just read you the little competency. This course concentrates upon the exploration of image concepts, content, and symbolism and narrative potential of photography. Emphasis will be placed upon experimenting with alternatives to the single documentary style, traditional approach to photography. Students will be challenged to develop a wider understanding of possible photographic solutions to problems of communication and self-exploration. Yes, this does not have an A, B, and C. This may skip around and start at Z. This is all about your ideas. I have a number of people that I want to show you and things. One of my favorites is a surrealist painter named Mark Ryden. We'll look at some of his work and all as we go along. But I really like what he says about creativity. And again, just listen to this paragraph. Well, I have to admit, I don't really paint my paintings. A magic monkey does. He comes to my studio late at night when it's very quiet. Mysterious things happen late at night when most people are asleep. I help the magic monkey, but he does most of the work. My big job is to get him to show up. I've been learning just what that takes. He is very particular. The right frame of mind is important. I have to switch my brain from linear logical thinking to creative free feeling. And that's exactly what we have to do in here. Now, of course, there isn't really a magic monkey. Maybe there is, actually, in his case. But what there is this is what he said. How do I get him to show up? You need to figure out what it takes for you to get your ideas and concepts. And he has said, I have to change my way of thinking. And that's what this class is all about, changing your way of thinking. He goes on here, things have to flow from a place that is more subconscious and uninhibited. That's a very, very good point. When you believe and have faith, things will flow. You can really feel it. It's like magic. The monkey comes tapping at the door. We get out the paint and brushes out of the treasure chest. We have a great time making art. Absolutely. This class is also about having fun. That's another big element here. You have to figure out what makes you happy in your art. And that's what we're going to do in this class. So let's look at a few of the specifics. If we look through here, we can break down some of the assignments. It starts out with a typical autobiography. I want you guys to spend some time getting to know each other. That's really important. Our first assignment deals with visual identity. which we'll go on and talk about in great detail. And then, of course, there's the final project. The final project, again, you're going to get inundated with all kinds of things to look at, and so I don't really want to touch too much on that, except to say basically it's an extended self-portrait. That's what we're doing in here. And I'm not talking about a self-portrait that has to involve you. You may or may not, your physical presence may or may not be in it, but your essence will be. And again, so what's he gone on about? I know that one of the things I wanted you to look at here for inspiration is the Tree of Life trailer. And some of you went to it. Of course, I went to it. The trailer is incredibly beautiful. It's an incredibly rich piece of work. But, oh, the whole movie, what a yawn, you know? So the trailer, that is visually very stimulating. And I've also put a lot of other people that we're going to look at all along to give you ideas. But the final project is something that I think you guys will really enjoy doing. But I think it's going to take a little getting used to. I mean, the whole class in itself is going to take a little getting used to because it is not one of those kind of spoon-fed technique classes where if you do A, B, and C, it's about so much more than that. So what are one of the things that we said there? Symbolism. I'm going to make reference to symbols. This is one of my favorite books, The Dictionary of Subjects and Symbols in Art. You can look this book up. It's just like a dictionary. I can look up whatever it is I find. Dog, here's the first thing I look at. Regarded in the East as a scavenger and thief, rarely mentioned in the Bible except in an unfavorable light. The Apostle Andrew exorcised 7 dogs possessed of demons. This breaks down everything and how symbols of dogs have been used, what they represent. Symbols are very important. It's also really important that you understand that the symbol that you're using must be universal enough. Otherwise, it's not going to matter if people don't get it. It's got to be personal, but it's also got to walk that line of being something that other people understand. Here's another one that I really like. The Photographic Possibilities, the Expressive Use of Ideas, Materials, and Procedures. This book is full of some really wonderful visuals, ideas for using photography. Again, we'll talk about these. It talks about everyone in here from the Starn twins all the way down. So we'll talk about so much in this class, but a lot of it is going to be alternatives. You're not going to just have to make a photographic print. You may find you may be cutting, you may be pasting, you may be collaging, you may be creating some things in Photoshop. You may be doing things completely different ways, ways that are almost mixed media. This is a fabulous book. It's called Create and Be Recognized, Photography on the Edge. And it is basically, this book is first survey and electrifying subject of outsider art. Most of the people here are non-professional artists. They're people that were never taught. They're self-taught. And many of them were institutionalized. This is some really amazing art. Some of these three-dimensional photographic pieces that are mounted on wood. We're doing all different kinds of painting on top of imagery. This is a great resource for anybody that's interested in them. I will put some of these books, names and contact info out there for you if that's something that you are interested in. I'm going to step away here, and I'm going to grab something to show you. I have a piece over here. Here I am, back. This is one that I did. For a while, years ago, I taught high school, and I had a lot of bad kids, and they actually had a paddle that hung over the door of the high school. So I did a bunch of photosensitive paddles. This was liquid photographic emulsion that you could paint on wood. Now, there are other ways of doing this now because we could do it with all kinds of digital things and transfers and whatnot. But this is actually photography on wood. Again, you may find that you may be creating some little three-dimensional sculptures and rephotographing them for that matter, and that may end up going into your project. But I think this is a class that you're really going to like, or you're not going to like. But I'm going to try and find a way, even if you don't like it, to make you like it. Because you've got to like it. And what I mean by that is, just as I said in the very beginning, we're competing now with people that have an iPhone and Instagram. And you and I both know that, hey, it can get shined up. It can start out pretty crappy, but we can shine it up and make it look pretty good. And so what we have to be, the people will go to them. Hey, it's like they're not going to hire us, but they are going to hire us for the way we think and the way we translate their ideas. So we have to be 100% personal. We have to come up with a vision that no one else has, and that's why they're going to pay us the big money. So I've done an awful lot of photo illustration. You can look on my website and see the kind of stuff that I do. I have all kinds of portfolios, a lot of published stuff out there that you can look at. I do a lot of things that have been scanned and scratched and drawn over, things that are not just straight photography techniques. Again, you can look at my website and you can see how some of these things can then be applied to commercial work as well. I also do a lot of photographic novels, have done stuff in the past for DC Comics and Marvel Comics. So we'll also talk about some of that kind of material as well. So there's a few comic book covers and so on. Okay, so listen, I just wanted to introduce myself, tell you a little about who I am, and tell you a little bit about what the class is about. So watch this when you get in, look at some of these other reference materials, and we'll have a really great time. Okay, everybody, nice to meet you, and I'll see you in class. Okay, bye-bye.